Hello everyone and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. You know, sometimes as hoof trimmers, we can find the most obvious problems in the sole of a foot, and that problem can lead to very little separation of that sole underneath. And other times, we can find a minor defect in that white line can lead to a huge area of separation. That's exactly what we've got here. Not a very big crack in this white line, but what's underneath, well, that's a different story. So if you watched my last video, you remember there was a giant rock that worked its way through that sole and into that corium. Now it was a big problem, or looked to be, in that sole, but ultimately underneath there was not a large area of separation. Now in this case, small crack in that white line, there's going to be a big area of separation. Now why is that? Why do those things happen? Well, it comes down to two variables primarily: the amount of corium disturbed and the duration of time since the insult happened. Now the corium disturbance part, well, that makes perfect sense, right? But why the duration? Why would that affect the amount of separation there is? Well, the separation is happening as the cow's natural way to try to deal with this problem on their own. By releasing that sole, that is giving space for that lesion to try to heal on its own. That's how this would heal naturally. Of course, we're speeding that process up by removing that sole. Ultimately, we'd have to take time for that to happen in the wild or in natural settings. That sole would eventually fall away, and that would do what we're trying to do here in just a couple minutes. So as I was trimming this cow, the owner of the farm stopped by, and I want you to listen to what he told me.
This one here was bad, then she got better, and almost forgot to trim her.
So what's the significance of that? Well, one of the comments that I see all the time is how did the farmer not catch this? Well, he did catch this, but the cow started to get better. We had a dog once, and he would inexplicably come up lame, but then in a few days he would walk it off, and the vets never did figure out what the problem was. Now in this case, the cow started to get better. Did she do something to cause that problem? Did she have a hoof problem? And that's what ultimately happens a lot of times, is these problems are spotted, but then the cow starts to get better, but hiding underneath that sole is the problem, and that can flare up again. And that's when we see those areas of multiple layers of separation. That's from repeated attempts and repeated flare-ups of these issues trying to heal. That sole underneath is still soft. That's why we're going to put a block in this other claw to take the pressure off of this. I got a little carried away with the amount of glue I put on this one, so I'm going to trim that away with my knife while it's still soft. Now, if you're looking at this right now and saying, no, you got to take more of that loose horn off, got to do it. I've watched a lot of these videos and you have to take it right now. Wait 1 second here. You saw how soft that sole was underneath, right? If this block comes off, I need that there to protect that claw. As you'll see, when I remove that now, 27 days later, it heals perfectly fine, leaving that on there. Now, she did have some dermatitis, so I am going to wrap this again. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.